Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be going through the top teams for Lone Gaze. There's one using Harak and then there's a non-Harak team as well. Both of them are getting really high scores. It's kind of debatable right now which is actually better than the other. Because there's also a lot of RNG involved in the Lone Gaze boss, like depending on the exact grouping of your team, because you're always going to be like following the boss around, and a lot of it will depend on that. Okay, so the first formation we're going to show you is the Harak team, and the credit for this goes to Daisy, who shared it in the chat. The Illusion up in the front, and the main Frestro in front of the Harak to give him the energy from Crimson Contract. Smokey going to be position swapped by Rainier, and Mikola is off to the side here as well. So we have a replay of this from Old Grey Gamer, who has the optimal charms on all of his team, pretty much, other than Rainier, which is not a big priority. Arcane Charm on Mikola, Sorcery on Frestro, Recovering on Smokey, and Balanced on Harak. Let's get right into it. Okay. So your team is going to group up around the boss. This is always what happens in Lone Gaze. And usually you don't want anyone on your team to die because that can give the boss his buff stacks. However, in this, and he does, like you see there, he got buffed up, he has higher defenses, but because like Harak is hitting for HP per second damage, and that is our major damage source, it doesn't matter if he gets buffed up with defenses because you cut right through those defenses with the HP per second damage. And so Harak still is a fine option. But the thing about the Harak team is he will not work well with Shakir. That is the problem, because Shakir wants as many allies next to him as possible to increase the amount of attack buff he provides from his plus 10 exclusive equipment. And Harak keeps eating your allies, and so Shakir will not get that value. However, the other team that we're going to show you after this is a Shakir team, which doesn't use Harak, and for that reason. Okay. So far the E order has been the Illusion of the Frestro, and then the Mikola was eaten second and Rainier was eaten third, which is pretty good ordering, honestly. And now I think finally, or hopefully we can get Smokey eaten right now, which is also going to be perfect. Oh no, okay, well the Frestro goes down. So that was, I think, a bit of an issue. It's arguable because now we have the Smokey here for longer. He'll keep providing attack buff for Harak, but I think having the two Frestros and them dealing the vicious sting damage would have been more value than having the Smokey here. So I have a feeling that maybe with better RNG we could devour the Smokey before the Frestro and his Illusion. But anyway, this got a really good score, getting 86 billion damage, which is good. That's a really solid score. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be trying the other options, and I'm going to show you some different, like for example, if you even don't have Ludovic, then I'm going to show you that team as well. But first I'm going to show you the best team for today if you don't have Harak, and that is going to be there are two different options. One is using Verdant spell and one is using Resonating spell. So first I'm going to show you the Resonating spell formation. You're going to have the main Frester in front of Shakir and the Illusion in the back with the Resonating spell. And this is going to be it. As for the charms, for these teams, you need to have the Mystic charms onto Shakir. That is going to increase the power of his attack buff by a lot because of the skill power. And Ludovic, you need to have the Insight charms, because that skill power is going to increase his HP per second damage. For the other heroes, Mikola or Smokey, you can either have Sorcery charms or their other charm that will give skill power, like Arcane for Mikola or Recovering for Smokey. For Frestro, he doesn't even need any complete set. You just want to have 3 Mythic or Mythic Plus charms onto him. And but the best options would be either Sorcery charm or the Sturdy charm, I believe is what it's called. Basically the shield blue one that I have equipped to him right now. The energy on hit one. Okay, let's go. So I haven't done a run yet today, and this team is going to have a lot of RNG. So with all of these teams, you're going to have to try them multiple times, and that's where the skip function comes in handy. So if we don't get a good score on our first run, I'm going to keep trying it. Maybe in 3 times speed. We're going to do at least 3 runs until I'm happy with the score. But this team has been hitting, like, with the highly invested players who have, like, the Paragon Ascensions and everything. This team has been doing, I've seen it get over 95 billion damage today, which is crazy. The Harak team comes really close to that as well, so that's why it's kind of still confusing which is actually better as of right now. Also, for this team, the RNG is that your Ludovic is getting focused, and you can't have your Ludovic die, because Ludovic is your major source, one of the major sources of damage in this team. And as you can tell, I've been running Ludovic even at plus 10 exclusive equipment, Supreme plus, he does fine. And even if you had him below that, like Supreme plus 5 exclusive equipment, he would also do fine. But of course, the higher you can get him, the more damage he'll deal. Okay, great. Ludovic survived there. That is really important. And now things are looking pretty good for us. We're going to get a huge PB, but that is because we didn't have the Shakir charms before this. And also we didn't have the Ludovic charms, so we've gotten massive upgrades. So just keep in mind, the old grade gamer replay was 86 billion damage. And with this team, I want to try to get close to that, or maybe beat it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to beat it, because like for example, my Smoky Ludovic, they're not plus 15 exclusive equipment. So I don't have like the optimal investment level, but yeah, I'm going to try to do more runs. Because really the RNG of this team in the Lone Gaze boss, not only is it Ludovic surviving, the other thing is that your grouping of your team. Like, for example, having your team grouped up around Smokey for his blue aura. But there we go, 83.5 billion, not a bad score. Definitely considering our level of investment, like not having plus 15 on certain heroes like Smokey, Ludovic, and Nicola. This is really impressive. I'm really happy with this. Because also we have no Paragon Ascensions on the key damage dealers for Dream Realm. Yeah. Ludovic's damage was kind of low. Forrester did a lot of damage in this fight. And yeah, I mean, if you had the sorcery charms or the full energy on hit charm set, maybe he could get a little bit higher damage, but it wouldn't make much of a difference. Okay, so that did really well for me. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, switch to the other team options, and then finally at the end, I'm going to do more runs of this and try to get a new record. Okay, so the next one we're going to use is this one, which is doing better for some people than the resonating spell formation we just tested. And this main Forrester in front of Shakir, Illusion in front of nothing, and otherwise the heroes are the same, and we're running the Verdant spell instead. Okay, we can now watch the replays or we can watch the fights in 3 times speed, because we kind of saw how the fight works. Okay, so really good grouping so far, but then the problem is when the Wolf Boss goes resummons himself to the back, then you are going to miss out on the grouping on your allies. Like right here is really the thing where you want Shakir to be buffing Smokey during that blue aura, and he was buffing him for some duration of it, but not the whole amount. But let's see. And this team might do better for you, for example, depending on different levels of investment. Like everyone's account is going to be different, and so you should just try both team formations. But for me, yeah, and for a lot of people, this team is doing a little bit worse, like 3 billion damage worse. That's what it was for me. It could be somewhat to do with RNG, but generally the resonating spell team is considered the optimal team out of the two, but for some people maybe the Verdant one is going to do better. So there we have that. And then finally, this is a comp from last week. This is something you can run if you don't have Ludovic charms yet, then this might be the best one for you, and is the Rainier position swapping the Smokey and the main Forrester in front of the Shakir. So we can just quickly watch this in 3 times speed, but this will not get as high of a score as the other ones. Like, it will still be good if you have your Shakir Mystic charms, because you'll be buffing up your whole team with that attack buff, but this is not going to be as crazy as the other 2 teams I showed. But for those, you're going to need the Ludovic charms, and probably Ludovic built up at least to Supreme, I would say. And the Ascension for Ludovic, like I've explained before, it's only for the stats you get. Like, you just want to give him attack so that his HP per second damage hits harder. But Shakir has been the meta hero in Crystal Beetle and Lone Gaze, and now that people have his charm sets complete, he's going to be tried to fit into other teams as well. Other bosses to see if he can be good. But yeah, this is going to get lower, but still 69 billion damage is nothing terrible either. Okay, so those are the teams. Now what I want to do is with the Resonating Spell team, which is, in my opinion, the overall best team, I want to run it a few times. And yeah, and by the way, the credit for all of these formations are labeled here. So Basilisk and Hardy came up with the this resonating version. Ambassadors is also known as Rickettsia. So Ambassadors also came up with the Verdant spell version. Daragon was the one who came up with the team that we just tried before this, which was the one without Ludovic from last week. Okay, so we're gonna watch it, and it is all about the smoky blue aura timing. We want Shakir to be in range to be buffing up the smoky in this position, which he kind of is, right? He was in the range of smoky for some duration. I think he was exactly 2 tiles away. Yeah, but Lone Gaze has a lot of RNG. And it isn't just about the allies surviving. Like, Ludovic can survive each fight, but it is also about the positioning. Like, look at that. 75.6 billion. And then I think the thing is, the Verdant spell team that we showed is maybe lower potential damage, but it's consistent. Like, you'll safely get a pretty good score, so you could start with that. And now this Resonating Spells team seems a lot up to RNG. The fact that we got 83.8 billion on the first run and then 75 billion on that run is all RNG. So I'm gonna now just skip for a few times because we've seen the fights a lot, and let's see whether we can get a new record with this. But if this is the case, I think I recommend doing one run of the Verdant spell team that we showed, and then you can try to go for your overall top score with your remaining attempts onto this team. But maybe that is the potential. 83.8 billion for my account. Because honestly, with my level of investment, missing out on plus 15 exclusive equipment on like Ludovic, Smokey, and Mikola, 83.8 billion is a really good score. Like, I was not expecting actually to get that high. Okay, it looks like that is going to be my potential for the day. And we've now done like 6 runs with the same team, and none of them have come close to that. Like, one of them barely got 80 billion, but our Verdant spell team got over 80 billion on the first try. So that is what I would recommend. Basically, you can do one run of the Verdant spell team. If I can just pull it up from the records. Which got an 80.7 billion. You can do one run of this team, main Fresser in front of the Shakir. And then when you have a pretty good score, then you can begin going for the RNG of the Resonating spell. But that has this major upside. Where you have the main Fresser in front of Shakir. Yeah, and we got the 83.5 billion, which is crazy. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. Good luck in getting a good score in the Lone Gaze boss. And until the next video, everyone, peace out for now, and thank you for watching.